So the Netflix series Monster just dropped a brand new season 3 months ago. Look, now that enough time have passed, I finally feel comfortable enough to talk about this series without feeling like I'm trend surfing or being exploitative. Or you just can't keep up with time, can you? Nah, I can't keep up with time for shit. One peaceful compliment before the storm. I like how this series doesn't feel like a period piece. You know, like one of those movies that are so in your face about the fact that they take place in a different time period. This series focuses so much on the story alone, I sometimes forget that there's almost a 40-year gap between me and these characters. And that is all the compliment I'll ever give, because although this series is not in your face about the fact that it is a period piece, this series is very much in your face about the fact that it is based on a true story. Now, what this series does is, instead of treating these events like actual stories, they look at the event from every single angle and try to milk it for its themes, messages, and commentaries, which butchered any narrative or even essence that you could get from these stories. It's funny because both the Jeffery Dahmer and Menendez brother story have the exact opposite problem. In this series, Jeff Dahmer looked like he's simple-minded, almost like he's also wondering why he is the way he is, when in reality, he is extremely self-aware, articulate, and completely emotionless. This could have been a perfectly fine case study about racism and homophobia, but they have to shove in this forced character study and ended up making Jeffrey Dahmer look like he's way more of a complicated person than he actually is in real life. In reality, his action is not driven by any sort of delusion or fucked up ideology. He is simply a man with no empathy and an addiction to raping corpses. The Menendez brothers are the exact opposite. They do have a fucked up rationale behind their crime. And instead of overcomplicating a simple character like Dahmer, this time they flatten and oversimplify these already complex people, looking at them through different point of views, portraying them as either cartoonish villains or cartoonish victims, which is made even more confusing in this season with the batshit tonal shift that happened like every 5 seconds. Apparently, this series is trying to use filmmaking techniques from dramas, horror movies, and character studies to tell a true story. Imagine if they tried to pull that shit off with a fictional story, the result would have been so disjointed and messy. You know what? Scratch that, because that shit have already happened in real life. Joker 2 for the whatever the fuck have the exact same problem as this Monster series. Now, I actually like the theme and messages of this film, but the way this movie delivers its message is so ham-fisted, it's like every single plot point is only there to deliver a message. The Monster series is basically like that, but on steroid. Right before the last trial, where the Menendez brother is definitely gonna lose, we cut to these jurors who we've never seen before, doesn't have any emotional connection with, and we'll never see again just to what? Prove a point? The Dahmer and Menendez brother stories are not stories. They are glorified news report. It's just that instead of reporting on facts, they're reporting on other people's personal opinions and point of view. I'm gonna stay off the morality for now. If there is one movie that properly show a true crime case as a narrative story, it would be Snowtown. Snowtown is a movie about an Australian serial killer who specifically targets child predators. This movie could have picked so many themes from the case, from the animal abuse to the nature of vigilante justice, but they only pick one: the abusive relationship between John Bunting and his accomplice Jamie Velasquez. Centering the story around one human relationship instead of focusing on the murders and all the social commentary surrounding it makes it feel like a coherent story with one sensical main theme, instead of a jumbled mess taken from the opinion of everyone surrounding the case. Unfortunately, considering that Snowtown is just as unbiased and unflinching as a fictional story, means that it is just as insensitive to the real-life people as it would with fictional characters. This film explicitly showed the rape of Jamie Velasquez with no censors nor consideration, and it also shows a full frontal nude scene of one of the real-life victims. It's interesting how both of these medias can be so insensitive for exact opposite reasons. While Snowtown doesn't give enough of a shit that it is based on a true story, Netflix's Monster focused too much on it.